Here we have a new 2025 Nissan Sentra. This one comes in the SR trim level. We get the two-tone gray and black. And then for the interior, we get the charcoal sport. That's gonna be cloth. Powertrain consists of a 2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine made it to a CVT, giving us 149 horsepower, 145 pound-feet of torque. To the front end here, LED headlamps. And since it's got that slight nose refresh in 24, it really does make a big difference. It makes this look that much more sleek, that much more modern. 18-inch alloy wheels. Passive keyless entry on the front. And then we have one touch up and down for the driver's side window. And then just regular power windows on the other 3 doors. Power door lock controls, rear window lock, power mirror controls there. And then our blind spot monitor right in here. Eco mode, trunk release, gas cap, hood release, foot pedal, parking brake, manual tilt, steering wheel. And there's our driver's seat, 6-way manual, so we can pump the seat up or down here, seat back there, and then seat bottom right here. But I like the cloth quite a bit, mostly just because of the colors here. The orange stitching is pretty neat. But I want to give a huge thank you to John Roberts Nissan for allowing me to review this Sentra today. I'll leave a link below in the description. And if you're looking to find the best price on one of these closer to home, click on that second link down below. It takes a minute to fill out your info. I'll make sure local dealers are fighting to get you the best price on one of these or any new vehicle you might be interested in. But I have that seat up front adjusted for someone of my size, being 6'3" with longer legs. So we're gonna check out the rear seat room. So not bad in my opinion, especially for this small of a vehicle. Seat back pocket there, USB-A charge port. And there's a view of the front from back here. And one thing I will say is for this price point, just looking at everything, I am surprised that it's this high. This is the SR trim, but I mean, obviously you can't make just super cheap cars forever. That's one of the things going on with Nissan and Honda right now. So I feel like Nissan's always been a bargain car, but I feel like it's kind of harder to compete now on just price. So that's why you see the same thing with the Chevy Trax, but they have more profitable models to kind of make up for selling the cheap cars GM does. But I mean, still a solid car, I think, especially in terms of gas mileage and all that. I like the spoiler here. I like the taillight design, even though they're not LED. And I definitely love the exhaust. A nice tip there. Fuel cap there. And sorry for the wind if that's coming through. Pull up on that. These seats will fold flat. You can run longer objects through and pretty easy to lock it back into place. One big plus is having the rear side airbags. Always appreciate that. This wind is picking up. And there's our front passenger seat manual. And then we have a glove compartment there. And then as we come back around to the front, just a quick look in the engine bay. Again, 2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder, 149 horsepower, 145 pound-feet of torque. Let's go ahead and get out of this wind and hop in the driver's seat. Ooh, that's much better. Leather wrap steering wheel here, and I love for the SR, again, you get the orange stitching to kind of go with the black leatherette there. There's the horn. Now over here at the radio, we get AM, FM, XM, Bluetooth, and then wired CarPlay and Android Auto compatibility. 8-inch screen here. Your settings, you can go through your Bluetooth connections, USB, sound settings here. And then in here you can change your units of measurement or your language. And I like this system because it's pretty straightforward. Kind of have everything you need, nothing extra on there. Backup cameras there, guidelines follow you as you turn the steering wheel. Then you can turn the volume up, click there to turn the audio off. And then you have a tune knob here. Click there, you can pull up your EQ settings on the fly. Hazards, 2-stage heated front seats, dual zone automatic climate controls. And then down here, your auto stop toggle, USB-C, USB-A, and an aux input, 12 volt right there. For the shifter, grab the lever here, reverse, neutral, drive. You have that low gear there. And then you also have your sport mode here. So when you drive, hit that and you can toggle the sport on or off. And in the bottom of the gauge cluster, the digital part, you can see when the S is on and when it's not. The bottle holders are here. Center console cubby space, I think it's pretty big, honestly, for this kind of vehicle. And there's a look at the back seat from up here. Now, one thing I do like is we still have a sunglasses holder here. Didn't try to just block that out. But no light for the front vanity mirror. Is what it is. But back to the steering wheel, blinkers, high beams. You can set your headlights off or auto there. And then over to this side, we have our intermittent wipers, one time off, intermittent low, high. We can adjust that intermittent frequency here, pull up here for that front wiper fluid. Now back to the steering wheel itself, volume controls, trackless radio station presets are there. And then we do get our intelligent cruise control, so that is a plus here. Even though this one's an SR, more basic trim, I'm glad we still have that adaptive cruise. We can adjust the gap for that there, Bluetooth button, voice recognition. Then we can set our speeds or cancel there. Now these 4 arrows in this OK button, this is to go through the middle part of the gauge cluster. So we have our tire pressure monitors, and then we also have our fuel economy. And then in our settings here, we can fool with some of that. So the driver assistance, you can go in here, turn the lane departure warning on or off. Blind spot monitors, all of that can be fooled with right in there. And then your eco mode setting, your vehicle settings in here, you can fool with that too. Set your wipers and so on and so forth. But push button starts here. And finally, this is our key fob with remote start. Next, let's go ahead and take this 2025 Nissan Sentra SR out on the road for a quick test drive. So starting the test drive in the Sentra here, decent pickup, I think. And I don't know why the telescope on the steering wheel wasn't wanting to work earlier, but this does tilt and telescope. I was only being able to have it tilt for whatever reason. That is tough, but anyway, so driving down the road here, ride quality is decent. This heated seat is very hot, so that's a good thing. But I mean, I like how this drives. It's very easy to get used to. It's very fuel efficient, and there's not a lot of crazy stuff going on. Even with it being an SR, it's mostly just for the looks. The SRs look so good, whether it's the kicks, the Sentra, the Altimas, all the SRs are just really sporty trims. And this is a pretty good car for the money. I kind of was mistaken just in terms of seeing a lot of corners cut, but honestly, like, I thought they took the telescope out of the steering wheel, so that kind of made me mad. But now I'm like, okay, they didn't, so they're not that bad. Talking about Nissan. But overall, I mean, these are, people like these because they're easy to drive. They're very simple. You just get behind the wheel and go get 40 miles a gallon. And then if you put in a sport mode, it can actually get up pretty quickly. But when you're getting 40 miles per gallon, you're gonna be doing that on the highway, and it's nice to have the intelligent cruise control for those longer journeys where you'll be getting that 40 miles per gallon. Now with this having the Xtronic CVT, I like the CVTs in the Sentras because you're not expecting to have a spirited drive. I don't want to say not fun, but you're not expecting to have a spirited drive in a Sentra. And even if you were to go up to like a VC Turbo Ultima, you're not expecting to have a overly spirited drive in the four-door Nissan cars. Now in the Murano, I want pickup, I want a traditional transmission, I want something that's relatively quick. So the new 25 Muranos, they really just did a good job going back to where they came from in terms of having a traditional automatic transmission and then just having a variable compression turbo 4-cylinder that's quick and fun, and you can go through those different drive modes as well. But here, these are mostly commuter cars. People are trying to spend the least amount of money possible, but if you're going with the SR trim, you want something that still looks nice, and you'll pay a little bit more for that. And that's one of the reasons these sell so well. You're still under $30,000 MSRP, and you have something that kind of makes you smile when you get behind the wheel of it, knowing that it at least looks fantastic. Now me personally, I would go up to the SR Premium just to get the leatherette seats. I can't remember if they're full leather or leatherette, but those seats are so nice, especially with the brown there. A few other extras. But this SR to be right around 27 grand sticker, and again, you can probably get it cheaper than that now. Not a bad deal in my opinion. And people like to talk stuff about the CVT, but honestly, if you maintain your vehicle like you're supposed to, run it into the dealer or find another mechanic who knows how to maintain a Nissan with a CVT, you won't have any problems. I shouldn't jinx it. You shouldn't have any problems. Now I'm gonna put in a sport mode and let's see what this thing does getting up to speed. Here we go. So honestly, pretty impressive in terms of putting the power down. Again, for this kind of car, it's 2-liter naturally aspirated. What people don't realize is the CVTs where you don't have shift points, a lot of the times they're tuned correctly. And again, by that I mean being in the sport mode, you can get it going at least as good as a traditional automatic. Now wind noise, it's windy outside, the sun's going down, it's literally freezing outside, so I'm not really tripping on the wind noise that's coming through right now. Ride quality is pretty good, even with these bigger wheels. But I want to give one more thank you to John Roberts Nissan for allowing me to review this Sentra today. I'll leave a link below in the description. And if you're looking to find the best price on something closer to home, click on that second link down below, and I'll make sure that the local dealers are fighting to get you the best price on whatever new vehicle you might be interested in. But final thoughts on the Sentra. It's really hard to come across a 4-door sedan these days. You know, everybody's going with the SUVs. I do think that GM might have a lot of the competition beat, and that might be one of the issues that Nissan's having now is you can get a 4-door SUV, the Chevy Trax or Ford Escape. You can get a base model one for close to the same money as a Sentra, you know what I mean? And that's one of the reasons that the Kicks has been doing so well, especially since that redesign. It's just a stunning vehicle. And I mean, the Sentra's still relevant because you get better gas mileage here. The engine doesn't feel as strained. But I mean, everybody's just going towards SUVs now, so it's hard to really say how much longer the Sentra will be relevant. As a commuter car, it's still solid, but again, if you can get close to the same amount of fuel economy from a small SUV that has a bigger trunk, a hatch, why not go with that? But to those of us that still love cars like myself, still a pretty good vehicle for 28 grand in 2025, and that's just my opinion. But this will bring me to the end of my review of this 2025 Nissan Sentra SR.